So that was a completely different set of circumstances than what we're looking at just now. I would say Hearts are on the up.
Listen, our coefficient will be so good by then that we'll scoosh through. I've got confidence.
But you grassing on us, that's brand new.
I was a worried man.
He was always moaning.
Will Hibs or Hearts go down? He's got them to win the league.
Hearts will finish the top
So you'll
six.
need to take that between you two. Will Hearts or Hibs?
Hearts will finish the top 6 this season.
That's a no then. What about Hibs?
I don't think they'll go down, but they're in more of a fight. They're in more trouble than what Hearts are.
At serious risk of going down, or is that still way too early to?
I think it's way early. I mean, the league is very, very tight.
I don't think either of them will go down this year.
I'm the same.
No.
Because there will be a couple of teams who will struggle.
In January as well.
Yeah.
It's the
Because
10
they've got the ability to fix it in January.
Yeah.
Some other teams don't.
10 years ago, it happened to them both in all different circumstances, different reasons.
Yeah.
Again, is that a fluke then, or is that a reminder of what can happen when you get in that rut and things are spiralling downwards?
I think Hearts went into administration or something, didn't they? Or they were about to, and they couldn't sign players and all that stuff that goes with it. So that was a completely different set of circumstances than what we're looking at just now. I would say Hearts are on the up at the moment. I'm not talking about their league position, but I do think that the input from Brighton is not the same as. So, like, I think Hibs have got a tie up with Bournemouth. Is that right?
Yeah.
But I think that's more a player exchange thing.
But I think they've given them a lump sum of money.
I think
as
there's
well.
25%, isn't there?
Right.
25%.
But in terms of
And also Dundee and Burnley have some
might be
sort
wrong.
of thing going on. But this thing with Hearts is different. They're getting access to something that's already proven to be able to find good players for as little money as possible.
So let's focus on Hibs for now, because you've got high hopes for Hearts. You've got them in the Champions League in a couple of seasons. Can you get in that, like I say,
who said they've been the
a
Champions League in
rut?
a couple of seasons?
Well, if they win the league, come on, Chris.
But you
If
maybe
they win-
qualifiers. You maybe qualifiers. That doesn't
Listen,
mean you're
our
in the Champions
coefficient
League.
will be so good by then that we'll scoosh through. I've
right,
got
okay.
confidence.
All right, okay.
When you get in a spiral, or things
That's
are.
what happened the last time at Hibs. I think it was Terry Butcher was in charge, and they were 6th, 7th, just missed out.
Score the goal to send them into the playoffs.
But
Thank you for that.
I think when you look at it, it can happen. It can happen. But there needs, we talk about teams winning at the top end of the table. You need the exact same to happen at the bottom end of the table in terms of the teams that you thought were going to be struggling, pulling away and causing upsets. I mean, I've got to admit, and I don't mind saying it, Gordon, you're obviously across the city right now, but I have totally called Dundee United wrong this season. I mean, I thought they would have come up and have been struggling, but Jim Goodwin, the job he has done has been outstanding. And that's probably chucked a span on the works as well.
United are a big side.
Yeah.
And Jim's not taken as long as I thought it might to get them back to where they
should be.
So he's done a great job. He has done a great job.
Yeah, when you come up from that league, you're on a run. You feel
You've
comfortable
got the
about
momentum.
yourself. You've got a bit of momentum going.
I agree with that.
You find it that when they do get up,
Next
they've won
season
it.
will be a challenge.
Exactly. I think that's the one. Yeah.
But I mean, you're looking at, Ross County away from home, they've been really poor. Albeit they got a draw at Tynecastle a couple of weeks ago, and we're very unlucky not to see that out and win the game. But at home they've been pretty good. But I just always feel as if when you get down to that, when you need to win games of football, it's added pressure on you at home as well. It can be difficult. I mean, Craig will know more. I know St Johnstone have changed, but I don't see St Johnstone ever getting away from that area where they're always going to be 1-1 away from maybe getting dragged back into it as well.
Do you want me to leave the room now, boys, while we discuss this?
No.
Because you're skirting around the team.
No, I think St Johnstone and Ross County are probably the two that for me still towards the end of the season will be the two that whoever finishes the best out of those two will get that playoff. I still think one of those two will go down.
Gordon, you spoke about the positives, the other way, trying to get recruitment right. Do you ever get that way that if you had a club down there and you feel like the recruitment's just wrong, and whether it is maybe Hibs and or any team down there, and you're trying to find solutions?
This is a new fashion fad here, recruitment. It's been going on forever.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong. But as I said, there's no guarantee when you're saying anybody that's got to be right. So this is I know what Kris was talking about. It's not the be all and end all now. It's not the be all and end all recruitment. It's you'll still, no matter what you've got, what gadgets you've got, you'll still sign players that are not very good, and still because they don't want to improve. So that's, again, I get back to this. It's all about the human being that you're signing. Good lad, intelligence, wants to get better, got a first touch. So I think we need to watch. We're getting sucked in with it. Same as we're getting sucked in with set play coaches and things like that. We've been pulling out set plays, good moves for years. For years. I mean, even when we played against Hearts, I saw Dundee United when he was there. I remember that the final game of the season once, I made sure the referee knew, and you were standing at the tunnel when you heard that. I says, aye, good eye, if the referee said that it's got on. I said, aye, but watch what they did at set plays, would you? Because you blocked 2 players to allow other people come in. So it's no brand new, all this.
I don't mean the way.
You grassing on us, that's brand new.
I was a worried man.
He was always moaning.
But I made sure the referee knew it. That's what they did. They actually had 2 players who had no interest in blocking people to score. So
they would have made sure. They would have made sure they did.
All
their
that's
job
that's
properly.
all that's.
No, I don't
It's
mean.
all no.
I don't mean
new stuff. Even systems.
But I don't mean the way you're recruiting players. I mean the fact that you have to recruit. So if you're
I
a
think
big,
it gives-
if you're a big club like Hibs, and you're trying to find solutions from one season to the next, and new players come in and they're not having the desired effect.
Hibs's recruitment has been all over the place.
That's what I'm trying to
They've
get
paid lip service to our recruitment team in Bournemouth. I mean, the Black Knights have, the last few weeks have more or less said we want to more an approach. If we're putting in an X amount of money every year, we want to be involved in it. We want to be, because looking at it, I don't think they had any say in Malky Mackay coming in. I think there's been plenty of problems at the top of the tree at Hibs, and we keep going on about the Hibs managers. There's another one, potentially going to get sacked. I know he's been back this week as well, but it can't always be the manager's fault. It can't always.
You know it better than me. What is the actual deal? Is it 25% they're voting Hibs?
I'm not 100%. They put in a lump sum every year. They put in
let's just you've done this one.
I said I was just refereeing.
They put in a lump sum every year that allows them to maybe get
but
more.
if you want
the running of the football
but if you
club.
want complete control of the club, buy it.
Yeah.
Don't give me 25% and then start to tell us what we're doing, because there's 2 different things going on here. Bournemouth want to probably send players up there and generate money for the players. What do Hibs want to do? Hibs want to make a good team for the community, their fans, and stay in the league. So there's maybe a conflict when you get these setups with teams. One wants to develop the players, one wants to send their coaches up, but the other ones, well, we want to do, that's what we want to do, is keep our fans happy. Here's what Hibs want to do. Be better than Hearts. Simple as that. Mm-hmm. And Hearts want to be better than Hibs. So if you say to them, what do you want to do in life? We want to be better than Hibs. That's as simple as that. Mm-hmm. So if you're only paying 25% of the share, please don't. If you really want to have the say, buy 70%.
Yeah, but at
then
the same time, we don't know if those conversations happened, and there was interest.
As I said, we're sitting here, but we don't know the actual.
We don't know if
figures.
there was interest to actually buy the football club, and the ones that charged didn't want to give that up. We don't know, but I think looking at it, if I'm putting in even that amount of money, I would want to be involved in the conversations. And by reading what I read the last few weeks, it didn't really seem as if there was that much influence from the Black Knights. It's okay sending a player up, but looking at it, I think that will change going forward. And then going back to it can't always be the manager's fault. I mean, Hibs have went through 5 or 6 managers now inside the last 3 or 4 years. It can't always be the manager's fault. There's got to be something. There's got to be something wrong with the structure.
So how do
whether that is, you've got people keep saying, "Oh, we've got a recruitment team in place." You cannot keep getting the same players wrong.
You tell us, having played, how do structural issues make their way onto the pitch? Because sometimes you'll hear that
signing bad players.
Is that in a nutshell?
So, if you continuously say, I mean, you take
it's not just players, Boyd, because the infrastructure of a club is really important. If you've got the wrong physios or the wrong medical people within, it creates this.
They're not good enough to be here.
Well, it's a little discontent amongst the players if they don't trust a physio. I'm sure you've encountered this situation where there isn't a trust.
Yeah.
And from that point of view, I think that's a little thing. It can start small and can grow and be an issue. And if your recruitment team over 3 years haven't brought in any players who are playing regularly in the first team, that's a problem, because you've got other players sitting there who are not getting a game, who are unhappy. Yep. So there's the infrastructure side of things can ripples in a lot of different ways, And I think if you've got a strong leader at the club, somebody at the top end who knows what they're doing, recruits the right people. We're not just talking about players, and we're not just talking about managers. I'm talking about every other department as well. If you get that right,
but there has to be a collective when you're getting recruitment. There can't be one man making a decision.
Well, it used to be. It used to be the manager.
A collective.
It used to be the manager.
There has to be a collective of.
I think Hibs have been a club recent.
I
know in terms of off the field. When Lenny was there,
I think in terms of Hibs, when you look at it, they've had a lot of The infrastructure has improved. There's no doubt about that. The infrastructure around, but the fundamentals of a football club is on the pitch. You know, you can have all these great lounges, everything, the state of the art and everything, but you need to have a product on the pitch.
The only thing that matters in
and
football, the only collateral in football is winning.
Winning.
That is it. You can have the best business director, best commercial director, best this, best that. If you do not win, it's a waste of time. You can go in as a manager with this.
But if you get all the best, you can get all the best people. Your chances of winning increase enormously.
But the commercial manager's not got to help. Yeah, the director's not got to better. This, it might help organising the recruitment and organise it. It's not one man. You organise it as a group of people. So when we say at St Johnstone, you have 5 people, you sit and decide, right, we've had a look at them. Good, we'll go for that one, that one, that one. So it's a collective. If it just goes right, it's a collective. You have done it together. It's a collective if it goes wrong, so you don't point your finger at one person. So it's a collective, you try and do it. It's a simple, and it's quite simple. You get the best people, best players around you. You know fine. When you were successful, you had good people around about you with great talent, resilience, character, and all these things. That's the one thing data doesn't give you. Character, resilience. That's why it needs a human conversation, human eyes.
You definitely need eyes.
Decide.
You definitely need eyes on the players as well. I don't believe that you can just. Well, that's just my opinion.
You cannot. Trust me, you cannot just do it off data.
And you also need
I've seen all the best data and all the rest of the stuff.
You also need to get character.
But also is it character resilience
references are really important.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's part of recruitment now. You mean you have players phone you up, or people phone you up and say, what's this one, what's that one?
You're correct, but the actual fan doesn't know that. No, the actual fan thinks it's all of data.
See when you speak about, when you're winning, you've got the best people around you and everything. Do you genuinely believe that is the case, though? Because there's sometimes when you're just winning games of football, it covers up everything. And we get lost in the whole thing. Oh, they were all good people.
Well, you'll not have everybody.
Yeah.
Right. But the influence in the dressing room has to be with the good people.
Yeah.
You'll have the odd backside in the dressing room. Right. I've played with them and I've worked with them, and some of them didn't even speak to me for 3 months. But that was fine. We could play.
Yeah.
We would win. But the character of the guy I didn't speak to was magnificent. Determined, great player, blah, blah, blah. It's fine. I'm okay with that. That's what you need at a football.
Because the reason I ask you, if you go back years ago, the be all and end all was you're part of that team, you go on the pitch, you win the game of football. Whatever happens away from it doesn't really bother. I think it's the opposite now. It's just festering. Do you know what I mean? I think, he doesn't really bother me. I'm not going to help him out because I need to look after myself.
Well,
I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot of that in society nowadays as well.
Well, you probably get a societal thing, but
I think a lot of people look after themselves now. I mean, you'll see yourself in terms of management. How many players you used to just throw people out there? Well, not throw them out, but pick a team. They go. They would problem solve on the pitch. Mm-hmm. Whereas now, all of a sudden, everybody's looking at the side. Right, come on, Gaffer, come on, man. You make the you're the one that makes the decisions. Nobody
again,
takes...
that's in character building as well. So, but also people take their responsibility for their own performance and can they affect people. So that's part of your data thing that people don't pick up. Everybody thinks the data is just, and it should be, the data should be collective, taking everything in. We know that it's not just about how fast you can run, how way you can go, because I've seen them coming up for under 21 leagues in England, and they've got the running data, they've got the muscles, they've got that, they can do this, they can jump. But see, when it comes to Scottish football, it's like putting a domesticated animal in the jungle. So that's what it's like. So you have to be able to, so the character has to be developed. And I'll get right back to it. Everybody that I've played with who have won things or been competitors, because you can't win things all the time, as long as you compete and never let your teammates down, that's a great thing.
Yeah.
I think we agree. I think there's more emphasis nowadays, Gordon, on the individual.
Absolutely, but the whole society's like that. I understand that. I've got that. But when it comes to a crunch in a football match, it's that group.
Yeah, but it's those characters that make up the group, and there are certain.
They all could be different characters, but there has to be something there. As I said to you, they have to be able to look after their teammates. They have to be
absolutely. But I do think
I'm not sure it is the case anymore. Like, I mean, you've obviously been in management recently. You go back 10 years ago.
I think players nowadays are more selfish. That's my opinion. I'll probably get slaughtered for that. But I do think it's more about themselves.
Is it players or just society? Entitlement.
Players are in society.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So it's no players that are causing.
But they're still players. So
my thing with you,
the people, Gordon.
My thing would be: is there an entitlement to young people now that's a wee bit different? They want respect right away. That's the favourite one. I want respect. What for? You've not done anything.
Yeah, I do.
See on that then. So young manager in at Hibs.
Listen, this was just three grumpy
And
men groaning on there just for a bit. We lost the plot altogether.
But as a young manager in at Hibs, your first job, and they used to call it the dreaded vote of confidence, didn't they? I don't know if that's still a thing, but Hibs, Hibs have backed him. How do you feel about David Gray's position and what he's going through then, just now? Because you guys, both of you in particular, have seen a lot in the management.
I think it's a tough
game
job to do one of the bigger clubs in Scotland. I think that's a tough job. We have to all acknowledge that, to go and do that and do it properly is quite a task. That's true. It's quite a task. And if you've got, the things have changed at Hibs a little bit, and I think there's been other factors that are involved. But there's not a settled, I couldn't say what the settled team is at Hibs. You understand where I'm coming from? And well, it's always better for a younger manager to have some sort of solidity, sort of solidity, and maybe have 5 or 6 key players in the team who are regulars and know the league and all that sort of stuff. It makes your life a hell of a lot easier. But I think the time span for a manager being in situ nowadays, I think it'll be less than 10 months. I think it'll be less than 10 months.
I think, Craig, when you look at it, I think there's a trend that happened probably the last few years anyway in Scottish football, and maybe there'll be people out there telling me that's always happened. I think when you look at, for example, Hibs, Hearts and Aberdeen, and they've all had young managers recently or currently, but it was off the back of them investing so much in someone else, like an experienced manager that they thought that they were going to be the one to carry it forward. We all know how football works. You don't succeed or you're not successful, there you go, there's a payoff and you continue to. So the next thing, if they go and bring in another experienced manager, it's double the, whereas there was people within, and I think of Barry Robson, I mean, he might have been good enough, but he was probably pushed in there a lot earlier than he should have been, because we've already spent a big chunk of wages in terms of the payoff one. And then you look at Stephen Naismith as well.
So it goes this way, in Hibs, Chris, it goes this way, right? So if you've got a manager who's unsuccessful and he's an older manager, the likelihood you'll go and get a younger manager for the next one. You look at the patterns in this, right? Yeah. Then the young one doesn't do so well, so you go back and get an older one, somebody who's more experienced, because you think you need the opposite of what you've just got rid of. But my point is, how can you build a team in 10 months? How can you build? You've got 2 windows. Yeah. How can you build a team in 10 months?
No, nobody's got to give you that time anymore. We just want to win. As I said to you, Hibs fans, Hearts fans, they just want to be better than the other ones. For everybody pontificates about what they want to see, the football, this, that. No, they don't. Hibs fans just want to beat Hearts. That's it. The Rangers fans just want to beat Celtic. Forget Europe, forget anything else, forget the money, forget whatever you're talking about. They just want to beat Celtic. That would keep them happy. It's the same with the Celtic board. Celtic board are useless. He's useless. Dermot's useless. That's when they're getting beat with some rubbish. Not heard a thing about that in the last.
I think there
year
is
and
a short term. Everything in Scotland is like short term, and everybody looks at it like that. There is other countries where you can go and develop and allow players to come through and allow managers to come through. But I think there is a point there in terms of you just need to win. You need to win games of football. But that's our culture.
But you need to win while you're changing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because obviously you've got the job, or most times you get the job, you've got somebody's been unsuccessful, so you have to change what's going on. Whether that you have an impact on that, just to be your personality, be your coaching or whatever, but you have to win with a group that's used to losing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, and for me, you have to win while you're changing all of that into something that you want.
But again, you've
got to win.
Well, Barry Robson did that. Win. And then when it went down a hill a wee bit, gone. See ya.
Yeah, but
so you had to keep winning.
But I know,
the only way he was going to survive was keep winning.
I know that, but the point being, we'll go back round in a circle, but back to the point, I think Barry's problem was Europe. He got Aberdeen into Europe and they had an absolute disaster in the league.
So Hearts have Europe.
In Scotland right now, you're being punished for being successful. If you
then qualify for Europe,
if you look at the managers. If you look at the managers who have qualified for Europe, for your Hibs, your Hearts, your Aberdeens, they've lost their job.
See on that.
So
then,
the key is finish 5th or 6th.
Just on that, Hearts have Europe this season and Hibs don't. To bring it back to the original question, will Hibs or Hearts go down?
No, I don't think so.
No,
I think they can fix it in January, whatever they do.
I'm like the big man over there, that Hearts have got too many good players. Far too many good players.
I genuinely still think Hearts get. I mean, they're only 6 points behind. 6 points behind St Mirren, I think.
It's fine.
I still think they get the top 6.
Don't need to convince me.
Yeah.
You sound of
just curious.
You might, Motherwell.
I think
just asking the
where Motherwell finish? Where will they be?
Oh, flying.
Fine. Where will they finish though? Top 6, bottom 6.
I fancy a wee sneaky top 6.